So good evening, guys. Welcome to the Azure Cloud Computing 101. So Azure is a cloud service provided by Microsoft, and here we are going to learn about Azure basics and how Azure offers the cloud computing services. First of all, we need to know what is cloud computing, right? So we will cover all the basics of cloud here first, and then we will move on to what is Azure, what type of services it provides, and how is it useful for everybody. So let's get started. So I am Preeti Kintali, Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I'm also certified in Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. So I'll be taking this workshop today. And I thank all of you for joining this workshop. So let us start with the first question. What is cloud computing? So what does it mean? So it's basically we all have if we have a company, we all have servers, storage, databases, right? But sometimes it may not be cost efficient, and we may be having doubt if we can afford that. So cloud computing comes as a solution to that, where we can just get these services over the internet by just paying for what we use. So it's like, as the second point says, it's like we can think of it as renting a virtual data center on demand. So there will be data center somewhere over somewhere. That is not what we take care of. The Microsoft takes care of the data centers and all we care about is what type of service we need. That's it. Rest all the cloud provider will be taking care of. So what are the benefits of it? So we can save the cost. There is a lot of scalability, like if we want to in future expand our company or build more, if we want more servers. So there is a scalability option also, agility, global reach. So global reach is also a major point where if we have a local storage database, then we may not be able to expand it. But in case of cloud computing, if we just use the services provided by some service provider, we can take it to a huge extent. And we don't need to bother anything about the infrastructure, but just focus on the service or whatever company provides. So there are few types of clouds here. One is public, next private, and the one is hybrid. Public cloud is what the Microsoft or Amazon, AWS, which is all the service providers provide to everybody on the internet. So public cloud can be utilized by everyone uh, by taking their services, using their services. That's it. It's available for everyone. Whereas private cloud is only like if I have an organization, I have a private data center, private servers, private storage. So it's only for a certain organization, and it's not for everybody, but it's just for the people in my organization. So that is the private cloud. And coming to the hybrid cloud, if an organization is there and if it has a private cloud already, it maintains its own data center and servers, but it wants some part of it. Like if they want to store some files in the cloud, then they are opting for a hybrid cloud. That means they are using both the cloud. So these are the types of cloud in the cloud computing. Now we have got a basic idea of what is cloud computing, what does it do, why do we need it? So let us now go and learn about few service models in cloud computing. So there are few service models in cloud computing. That means how can we use the cloud? So there are basically three types. So one is uh, infrastructure as service, another one is platform as service, another one is software as service. So how they are different from the on-premises. On-premises cloud is nothing but the private cloud, which I said, which the everything of it would be managed by me or my organization alone, and nothing will be intercepted or will be managed by the cloud service providers. Everything will be managed by only my organization. So what do we do? Only we have to manage everything like the data, access, applications, the runtime, operating system, whatever virtual machines we have, computing, networking, storage. So whatever is there, only we will be managing. That is the on-premises cloud. But how can we use the cloud storage? So infrastructure as service is provided by cloud where data and access, applications, runtime, operating system, and virtual machine is all we can manage by ourselves. So that means we can choose which type of operating system I want, which type of virtual machine I want, what type of runtime, what type of data, what type of applications. Is all I can manage. So you can see how much flexibility this cloud is providing to us. Rest all the cloud will be managing, like the storage, networking, and compute power. Compute power, like how much computational power do the server need? So like that. So this is one type of service model in cloud computing. Then coming to platform as service. So in this case, what we manage is very less. So the operating system, virtual machine, runtime, these three will be also managed by cloud only. This time, only we take care of is data and access, who can access our data, and the application, whatever we want to deploy or according to the service it is. Only these two we need to take care of. And software as a service is the ultimate, where only we need to take care of is about the data and who can access it. So only these two things are needed, and rest all will be taken care by the cloud. So these are all about the service models in cloud computing. So let us now dive into Microsoft Azure. Azure is, of course, provided by Microsoft, offers a range of services from virtual machines till AI. So virtual machines is an infrastructure as a service where uh, as I said, we can manage the operating system, runtime, applications, everything. So virtual machine is one type of IaaS. So if somebody asks you in future, you must be able to say what is IaaS. It's infrastructure as service. And Azure provides multiple services and it operates over 60 regions across globe. So in cloud, what happens is we don't know where the data centers and all are, right? So they are distributed across the globe in various regions. So I will show you in the demo of what regions are. At each region, we have few data centers divided into few zones. The few data centers will be here, few data centers will be here, like that. So there are multiple data center across the world and divided across these 60 regions. So, and Microsoft is one of the top three cloud service providers, which we know. So now let us see, why do we need to choose Azure? How is it different from other cloud services? So why do we need? You can see here we have security, scalability, worldwide access, hybrid capability, and flexibility. These are just few of the advantages which Azure Cloud has. So by the terms only you might understand. So what is security? So security in the cloud. So as we are using some resources on the public cloud, that means we need to be having some security, right? Because we can't trust anyone. But in this cloud, uh, it Microsoft protects our data, applications, and infrastructures from unauthorized access. Like if somebody wants to access my data without any authorization, so then Microsoft takes care of that, which is Azure, which has so Azure has a built-in security features like these firewalls, encryption, multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, like if somebody tries to log in, so we will be setting some extra part of authentication part so that nobody can log in easily. And encryption is like data will be encrypted into something else while while it is present, that is rest, while it is transmitted, that is in transit. So there are two types of encryption also. So these are all which cloud takes care about security. So we also have a tool called Identity and Access Management, which is Azure Active Directory. So we will see about this Azure Active Directory soon, which helps us in managing who can access what service. So if I have an organization in the cloud and I want few people to work on security related part and few people to work on database related part. So I can give them access to my organization on cloud and they can control those parts only. In that way, I can manage how uh, people are accessing the organization within the cloud. Next, coming to the scalability. The scalability refers like cloud's ability to adjust competing resources. It's the definition we have. So uh, let me take an example and tell you. So scalability, like if I have a website and suddenly there is a huge traffic. So what will happen if I had an on-premises data center? Then I cannot manage huge number of requests suddenly, right? I have to expand the server, but at a moment I cannot do that if it surpasses the capacity. So, but in Azure or any cloud provider, we have is there are few scaling options which we can set automatically. So if there is a website suddenly experiences a surge in traffic, then the number of servers can be increased or even the resources, which can eventually handle the load. So once the traffic decreases, so whenever the traffic decreases, then the resources can also be reduced. So in this way, what we can do is we can even save the cost. So not like one-time purchase if we do for the on premises, then it's we don't know how which day or which season the number of if the traffic will be more or traffic will be less. But in this case, the Azure is taking care of that. So that is about the scalability. Then worldwide access. Anybody can access these cloud services because even at your home or even some remote village, wherever you go, you have the access to these cloud services and it has high availability because cloud platform use redundant resources to ensure that if one server or data center fails, the workload is transferred to another. So availability means as I said, data centers are there, right? So what if a data center itself gets destroyed due to some natural calamity? Azure also takes care about that by uh, so we have an option of redundant data. That is, data is stored across multiple data centers, so that in case of these data center fail, then there are multiple backups also, which will provide as a backup and it won't lead to a single point of failure. Flexibility, flexibility because we have lot of flexibility in choosing, modifying, or even customizing the resources and services to meet changing business requirements easily. So whatever requirements we have, because cloud has like multiple options and Azure provides us with lot of options. So we can adjust the requirements according to our need. So that's what flexibility is about. And then coming to hybrid capability. As we discussed about hybrid cloud previously, Azure is also helping with that because if I have few services on the cloud and then I have also an on-premises which is private cloud, I can use both of them and Azure provides few services of for doing that. So this is why we have to choose Azure, and there are lot more benefits of why do we need to choose Azure. So now let us see about a few key Azure services. Let us know about them. So these are the basic key that is Azure services, and this is just an overview of what type of services Azure provides. So there are mainly five. Firstly, compute. Compute power would be provided by Azure, and there are few services named virtual machines, containers, app services. These are the name of the services in the Azure. Then we have storage services, which are blob storage, Azure files, SQL databases. These are the name of another few storage services, and then networking, Azure Virtual Network, load balancers, DNS. So these are about the network services. And then AI and analytics. You can see AI and analytics is also there in the Azure. So we can perform some machine learning tasks, do some analysis over the cloud only. We don't need any private thing. And DevOps. So DevOps is if it is a new term for you, it's like Azure offers like a set of tools that enables us to plan, develop, test, deliver, and monitor. So these are all things which we can do to deliver a software efficiently. It's DevOps is like a practice which we do while doing software development, which helps us in ensuring that we get a faster and more reliable software delivery. So Azure is even forward in that, where the services are called Azure DevOps and CI/CD pipeline. CI/CD is like continuous integration and continuous development pipeline. So if you want to know more about this, you can definitely check this DevOps topic also. These are about the key Azure services overview. So let us see each one in detail now. Let us start with the Azure Compute Services. So it's like a foundation. So whenever you read about cloud computing, these compute services are like the first thing which you will learn. So it's like it this is the compute services is what provides application the foundation to run and even manage workloads in the cloud. First one is virtual machine. What is it? So these are fully customizable virtual servers that can run any application. So these are just servers. Instead of having a server of my own, I'm using the virtual machine, which is of Azure on cloud. So this is exactly like a physical server, but we have a ton of options to choose if the server is Windows or Linux or something else. Even we can configure the CPU options, even the memory, storage, all based on our needs, whatever need we have. And the real advantage here is the flexibility option because we have many options to choose from based on so according to our need. If we are hosting some website, we can choose one type of server. If we are running databases, some other type of server. These are this helps us in getting the flexibility. And the best part is because as I said, it is cost efficient. How is this cost efficient? Because we only pay for the compute resources we actually use. Because we don't need to pay all at once at the start, and then it's not like we don't know the future. If we need that in the future, then we can just use that and then pay for it. So this is how the cloud actually works in Azure. We can easily scale up or down depending on the demand without needing to manage physical hardware. Everything the cloud manages. This is very simple. Let's go to the app services now. So this one. So fast deployment for web apps without managing servers. So this is a platform. This is also one type of service which Azure offers to us, which allows us to deploy any applications or web apps or even APIs without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So everything about Azure Cloud is that we don't need to worry about the underlying infrastructure. We just need to focus on whatever our app is, what type of service we want to provide to our customers. Everything else, the infrastructure, database, storage, will be managed by Azure only. So it is perfect for developers who want to just focus on building and deploying applications rather than dealing with servers, scaling, or maintenance. So if we want to create or put start a startup, then this would be the best option for us. So we can just use the services provided by the Azure, and we can just deploy our application on Azure, and it will just take care of it. We don't need any huge money to invest, and we can just start off immediately. And so that was about the app services. Now let's see about Kubernetes service. Kubernetes is also a very famous term which has been becoming very famous right now. So that is called AKS. Kubernetes is like a open source platform where we can manage containers. These both terms are interrelated. Containers are like lightweight, portable environments for running applications. So if you're deploying applications across multiple environments like development, testing, and production, containers ensures us these things like consistency and efficiency. This is about the containers. You can go and check out about containers and Kubernetes. What are they? And learn about if you are interested. So even Azure provides this Kubernetes service also, or everything at one place. That's it. So in short, whether you need a fully customizable servers like virtual machines, quick deployment for web apps, which we can do through app services, or even manage container orchestration, which we can do with AKS. So these Azure Compute Services provide us all. There are many more services which we can look out and check out in the website itself in the Azure portal. So now let us go to the storage. These are about the storage. Storage, what we have in mobile phones, we just store our photos, files. But coming to an organizational level, we have multiple files to be stored, multiple user data which we need to store, and even sometimes other backup data which we need to store, right? So Azure even provides that. And another major benefit is that these Azure services can be like used together. So if I have an application which was deployed using compute services, then I can connect that with the storage services so that whatever data is getting into that user data is coming, I can just directly link that to one of the storage service, and that would be really beneficial. So it's like all things at one place again. So Azure Storage Services is essential for managing, storing, and securing your data in the cloud. Data is an important part of any application. So firstly, let us see about the blob storage. The name is quite nice, blob. So it actually stands for binary large object, which is like so this storage is perfect for storing unstructured data. So we have data of two types, which is structured and unstructured. Structured is like we have tables, uh, all the data in just tables, and it's just data. But here we have binary large objects like images and videos, which can be stored in the blob storage. So that is about one storage service. Then we have Azure Files. So imagine we need a shared drive where multiple users or apps can store and access files. Azure Files provides exactly that. It's like cloud-based file share that can be accessed via some protocols. So there are some protocols also in here. It's a great tool for. So if I have some files on like traditional file share, then I want to migrate it to the cloud, then I can use this Azure file. The files can be really managed well using this. And the, Azure Files is actually special because it helps us mount these file shares on both cloud as well as on-premises environment. Integration will be done very easily using this Azure file. Then coming to Azure SQL database. SQL, which we already know, everybody knows this. SQL is a query language which is used to access data from any relational database. Relational database is a structured database where a database is stored in tables and there is relation between them. So even Azure offers that type of database storage and a cloud version where we don't need to install anything, software, etc. Even do not need to manage anything. We can just use that service directly. We can store like information like user information, transactional records, product records, etc. It's also highly scalable. Means we can start by creating a small one and then grow according to our needs. So all while benefiting from a built-in security and high availability. As I said, availability is at its peak. So each and every benefit which Azure provides us is very important while we manage an organization or run it. And finally, we have one called Azure Backup. So these are all just few services which I'm telling about, but there are many more services which Azure provides us. Azure Backup, as the name says, it's like automate data backup securely. So with Azure Backup, if we have some files or applications, even virtual machines, ensuring that your data is safe in case of accidental deletion, corruption, or disaster. So it ensures that. Plus, everything is stored securely in the cloud with the options for encryption. So the data is also always protected. So we don't need to worry about that too. So in short, Azure provides us a reliable, scalable, and secure storage services. Now let us quickly see about the networking services. So Azure networking. So what is network? So uh, whenever two, three computers are connected together, then that is a network, right? So we can have something called a virtual network, virtual private network in the cloud. VPN, we know it. It's like our own private isolated network in the cloud, just like having our own local network in our office, but it's kind of virtualized. So this VNet helps us securely connect Azure resources like virtual machines and databases and control incoming and outgoing traffic. So whoever, so we can control the traffic just like in traditional on-premises networking. On-premise, like as I said, it's the private cloud. So similar to that, we can control the same uh, everything similarly in the VNet also. That's about Azure Virtual Network. Now coming to the load balancer. So we have talked about scalability, right? So whenever there is a huge traffic which comes, this service helps us in balancing the load between multiple servers. So it ensures that one server does get more traffic and another server is just lying dead. It ensures that there is a balanced load so that each and every user can have access to the resources equally. And it helps us in getting a balance, right? Balance. So it directs the traffic from one server to multiple. And so there won't be any traffic spike. Also, even if it is there, there won't be any performance issues. Now, coming to the Azure DNS, it's domain name service, which helps us in hosting our domains on Azure. And it's a reliable domain name resolution. So using it also helps us improve performance and availability for our website. So you can see by now you might have understood all things at just one place. So now let us see about the next service, which is Azure Security and Compliance. We have security services also, where firstly we have Azure Security Center, unified security management across our resources. That is the center of everything, where from where we can manage our security for all the resources in the Azure. Then we have Azure Active Directory. I have told about identity and access management previously. So this is the service which helps us in uh, managing who will access what service in the cloud. So as I told with the previous example of an organization, if I have an organization and there are few uh, candidates who are working in that organization. So if one person is related to the database management, then I would create a role for him. So I would create an identity for him, and I would allow that person to work on the database part in my organization. So that is about Azure Active Directory. And then compliance. So there are also compliance certification globally which this Azure offers. There are multiple other security which this Azure offers. And what does it do? It's like identity and access management, threat protection. So we have few services which acts as firewall to our application. And then cloud security, information is protected, compliance management, risk management, everything, discover and response. This is about Azure security and compliance. Finally, we have talked about Azure price, right? That is, we use pay as you go. That is, if we use a service particularly, only then I will pay for it. Else, I won't pay for it. This is what pay as you go means. In this cloud provider, if I use an instance for just 1 minute, so there is also option like firstly Azure offers as a free tier so that we can start off just explore the services, and then after we exhaust the services provided by the free tier, then we move on to the pay as you go, where we use services and pay for what we only use instead of having a dead server physically, which I don't know even I'm going to use in future or not. So if I want a server to be used, only then I'll use. And if I don't want, I can just close it and get the bill for what I was using for. So that is about pay as you go. Then Azure pricing calculator. So it also estimates our cost in advance. So it's like a machine learning model. So according to the usage of the services I'm having right now, it will actually estimate what cost will I have in future. So that was about Azure pricing calculator. And then coming to Azure cost management. It's like a dashboard where we can monitor where am I spending more resources on, which service I'm using more, how much time I'm spending, and how much traffic I'm getting. So it's all about how I'm using a service and what cost I'm getting. So you can see a picture here, which is of the cost management console, which shows here about the price and how much I'm using. So you can see this is the month chart of the October, which shows this much was the usage, and this is the predicted one. So this is how Azure also offers this cost management. So now let us see about a quick demo on Azure. This is the portal where we are going to go and we are going to check how does Azure looks like. So let me quickly share that window. So this is the Azure portal. Firstly, we can go into this website. So if you don't have any cloud account on Azure, we can just click on Get Started. So azure.microsoft.com/en IN. And then after clicking on Get Started with Azure, it will ask us, you can see build in the cloud with Azure account, and we can get started immediately. We can click on try Azure for free, and it will go into another page. And there we can sign up and enter few details, like we can enter our Microsoft email and then the password. Then we can it will ask us the credit card details. But if you're a student, you can use the student email ID, and they won't charge any for student ID. And then we can just use the services. So once you do the sign in part, we can directly come here. So you can see this is how Azure looks like, Azure portal. So this is the home page, portal.azure.com. You can see here, I had used a service called static web app to deploy one of my portfolio website. So this is how it looks. So now let me quickly show you. So if I want any service, so I can just click on create resource, or I can even just go here and check out. So this is the dashboard. You can see whatever I have been using. And now I'll show you about the resources. So we can click on all resources and it will show us all the services I've been using. And then I can also navigate here to go to whatever service I want. So I can click on virtual machine. So what is this virtual machine? It's a compute service, right? So there are no virtual machines at present. And let us quickly create one virtual machine so that I'll show you how to create a virtual machine. It offers us Linux or Windows. So let me click on create and I can just create an Azure virtual machine here. So while creating a virtual machine, you can just check this out. Uh, what subscription is this? A resource group. The resource group is like so few resources are, so you can see here, resource group is a collection of resources that share the same life cycle, permissions, and policies. So if there are few resources, particularly for a development life cycle, let us take about the development life cycle. Then all of them will be coming under one resource group. So let me create one resource group here, or let me use just the existing one. So I have named it under Azure Workshop Group. And then we have to give some few details. And within few clicks, it will be done. Instance details. So let me name it as Azure Workshop and the region. As I was saying, it is global. You can see the region is uh, about which data center I want to use, where do I want this virtual machines to be deployed. So here it is chosen as East Asia, and I will let it be like that. And then the availability options. So that is again default availability zone. So there are multiple zones in that particular region we have in the East Asia. So I'm leaving that also uh, to be only zone one. We can actually click on multiple zones so that there will be two virtual machines, each in one zone. So I will leave it as one zone and then image. So we can also create images. So I will just take the Linux, basic one, a Ubuntu server this is, and then there are many more things which we don't need to take care of right now. And then I'll just review and create. So click on review plus create and done. So we are just going to review it a little bit and within a few minutes or steps, it will be deployed. So this is about how we create a virtual machine on Azure. You can see here it is still loading, so it takes a little 1 or 2 minutes time. So meanwhile, we can check about another service. So you can see this is all services where there are multiple services. This is AI ML, and then this is analytics service, and then we have compute services. So the app services which we have discussed, container apps, Kubernetes service, and then databases. So it's your Cosmos DB, SQL databases, DevOps. I'm just exploring and showing you what type of services this Azure is offering us. These are all about it. We can just, we don't need to navigate here also. We can just search here about whatever resource we want. If I click on blob storage, so we can create a type of a blob storage there. Let us check if this is created. You can see this is the subscription applied. So you can see 10 rupees per hour. So this is like a basic pay of what Azure offers for the instance we are using. So if I'm going to use it, then definitely I need to pay for it. You can see the subscription resource group under which this is deployed, virtual machine, name, region, availability zone, how many zones I'm deploying it, etc. Then I can click on create. And then it will be created. So this is how we create a basic virtual machine on Azure cloud. So now uh, this was about what I wanted to show about Azure. Now let us go back into our PPT. So let me quickly reshare that. So as you've seen, we have multiple services in the cloud in the Azure. Now let us see which companies are using this Azure as a service. Let us go to that. Yes. So Azure in action, real world examples. So there are, you can see, we all know these companies, right? They have been using Netflix. They have been using Azure. So Netflix, Walmart, and Starbucks, these companies, and many more companies are there, like Verizon, etc. So how does Netflix use this? Netflix uses Azure for global content delivery and AI-driven recommendations, right? Netflix is a platform where people binge watch series, etc. And it's like a content platform which everybody needs. So how Netflix never goes down? It uses cloud. So that is the solution. So global content delivery. So whichever place you are, the content comes to you and there is no lag in it, right? And also, if I watch some series and then there is a recommendation of similar series to you, AI-driven recommendation. It's again Azure services which they are using. Next, coming to Walmart, it's a shopping platform, uses Azure for managing online and in-store operations, including analytics, supply chain optimization, and customer engagement. So these businesses, these big organizations are using Azure. This Walmart is using it for analytics, supply chain optimization. So whatever chain is there in their production till handing it over to the customer and optimizing that, they are using that, and the customer engagement. Finally, everyone's favorite, which is Starbucks, which provides coffee. It uses Azure for personalized customer experience, predictive analytics, which is machine learning, and real-time decision making for its supply chain and customer engagement platforms. So you can see how major companies are using Azure and how they are successful in that because Azure offers all the services at the same place. Now, now that we have seen this much, let us come to a conclusion. What is it? The cloud is the future. And currently, actually, the future is right now because major companies, as you have seen, are already using this cloud and getting benefited from it. So it's time for us to right now to learn about how this cloud works, uh, so how these services work, etc. So there are many certifications which we can learn, how to deploy. So how to deploy is the basic one, and we can just learn how to integrate these services. That's the main point. And Azure provides a flexible, secure, and scalable solution for any business. So if we just have a thought about I want to deploy uh, some service or application on somewhere, so I don't need to think twice again. I just need an Azure account and done. I can just start my business right there. What we need is we just need to sign up for an Azure account, try the free tier, explore the documentation, which is very much needed because this workshop is just to introduce you to Azure and what it is, what type of services does it provide. And then documentation provides us a more much detailed information about it. And we can just start small. Done. And that's it about Azure. So now, if you are very much interested in learning about not only about Azure, but many more technical skills, then you can just visit this learn.microsoft.com/training. And then you can have free access to multiple resources on Microsoft, which are provided by Microsoft. So these are all free. They have multiple modules, and there are also few more challenges which I'm going to conduct in near future. So you can explore them and participate in them. So this was about Microsoft training. So if you have 1 minute, you can just fill the survey form by Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador to just give a feedback about how MLSA programs are. So I'll just wait for 10 seconds and you can take a screenshot of it and fill later. So I hope this Azure workshop and Cloud Computing 101 was very much interesting. And I thank you all for joining with such enthusiasm in this beautiful workshop. And I'm eager to see your participation in upcoming workshops. So thank you for joining the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and keep learning, keep exploring. Good night. Bye.